Welcome, everyone, to today's Explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled you're here because we have a truly fascinating narrative to unpack. We're breaking down a really revealing daily tech digest from April 28th, 2026. Now, what might seem like a series of isolated headlines actually forms this dramatic, unifying story about the artificial intelligence industry facing, quite honestly, its most critical stress test to date. From the courtroom to the boardroom, all the way down to the everyday developer's wallet, the entire ecosystem is under immense pressure. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our roadmap for the explainer. We'll start with the trial of OpenAI, then move into hitting the revenue ceiling, check out the copycat strategy, and finally look at the true cost of AI. Part 1. The trial of OpenAI. Musk versus Altman in federal court. So, opening statements have officially kicked off in this incredibly high-stakes federal trial, pitting former friends Elon Musk and Sam Altman against each other. Looking at this completely impartially, Musk's attorney, Stephen Mollo, opened with a massive accusation, telling the jury that the defendants stole a charity. Musk's core argument is that OpenAI totally abandoned its 2015 founding mission. Remember, it was originally supposed to be a public benefit nonprofit, totally unconstrained by financial enrichment. According to Musk's legal team, that massive 2022 deal with Microsoft was the game changer that violated every single initial commitment OpenAI made to the public. But we have to immediately look at OpenAI's defense here. Their lawyer, William Savitt, pushed back hard, telling the jury they are literally only in court because Mr. Musk didn't get his way. OpenAI's defense is arguing that Musk basically used his funding promises to bully the founding members, that he actively tried to take control of OpenAI to merge it with Tesla, and that ultimately his primary concern wasn't the nonprofit status at all, but simply winning the AI race against Google. So you can see these are two perfectly opposed realities. On one hand, I built this for the public good and they stole it. On the other, he tried to take it over and left when he couldn't. This is exactly what the jury has to figure out. And just to complicate matters a bit more, Microsoft's lawyer stepped in to argue that Musk actually knew about OpenAI's relationship with Microsoft years before filing the lawsuit. They even pointed to an X post Musk made all the way back in September 2020 as proof. During his actual time on the witness stand, Musk claims he came up with the idea, the name, and recruited key people like Ilya Sutskever. He testified that he only ever supported a for-profit arm as a small adjunct, saying it shouldn't be the tail wagging the dog. Adding some serious fuel to the fire, the Brockman Diary, a handwritten entry from Greg Brockman from 2017, was entered into evidence suggesting that a corporate conversion without Musk's knowledge would be, quote, pretty morally bankrupt. And this brilliantly illustrates the surreal nature of the tech world right now. On the exact same day, Musk was physically on the stand in an Oakland federal court fighting for the very history of the company. Sam Altman was making a virtual appearance at an Amazon Web Services event. Think about that. One founder is locked in an existential legal fight. The other is simultaneously pitching cloud services to enterprise clients. It is just a stunning juxtaposition. Okay, moving to part 2. Hitting the revenue ceiling. The harsh financial reality. Transitioning from the courtroom to the boardroom, a Wall Street Journal report out this morning highlights a really terrifying concept for the industry, a revenue ceiling. So what is that? It's basically a saturation point. It happens when a product's user growth starts to slow down way before it generates the massive revenue actually needed to pay for the infrastructure running it. Analysts are getting really worried that ChatGPT has slammed right into the ceiling well before reaching those trillion-dollar valuation targets they need to justify their sprawling data centers. The Wall Street Journal report detailed some very specific and pretty brutal missed milestones. OpenAI failed to reach its internal goal of 1 billion weekly active ChatGPT users by the end of the year. They slipped on their annual revenue targets. And why? Well, because fierce competitors are taking serious bites out of their pie. Google's Gemini really surged late in the year to grab market share, while Anthropic has been aggressively cutting into OpenAI's enterprise and coding revenue. That's leading to some real subscriber defection. Naturally, this slowing growth is creating some serious internal tension. On one side, you've got CEO Sam Altman pushing for unconstrained data center spending and a massive drive to acquire more compute power. On the flip side, CFO Sarah Friar is reportedly warning that if revenue doesn't pick up, they might not literally be able to honor those future computing contracts. She's pushing hard to prioritize cost control and IPO readiness. Now, publicly, OpenAI completely denied any division, calling the rumors ridiculous. But leaked reports suggest the board is taking a very hard look at these agreements.
So, the absolutely crucial point here is this staggering number, $852 billion. That is the massive target valuation for OpenAI's upcoming Q4 IPO. Just think about how many plates this company is spinning right now to justify that number. They're defending against fraud allegations in federal court, managing this scary revenue ceiling narrative, and dealing with internal spending tensions, all while trying to go public at nearly $1 trillion.
Unsurprisingly, the market felt this immediately. Analysts are already calling it the OpenAI chill. When the Wall Street Journal report dropped, the companies providing the very backbone for AI took a hit. Oracle dropped 5.5%, CoreWeave fell 5.4%, and AMD dropped roughly 4%. Even NVIDIA, the undisputed king of AI hardware, was the worst-performing stock of the Magnificent Seven that day, purely based on concerns about OpenAI's infrastructure spending trajectory. Part 3. The Copycat Strategy. Anthropic's Little Brother. A really sharp piece published today in The Atlantic connects these exact financial struggles to a noticeable shift in product development. A very distinct timeline pattern has emerged, where OpenAI is repeatedly mimicking Anthropic's releases. Look at this. Month 1, Anthropic launches Claude Code. Month 3, OpenAI suddenly drops major updates to Codex. Month 4, Anthropic announces Claude Mythos. Month 5, OpenAI shares a restricted program called GPT 5.4 Cyber that looks uncannily similar. They even launched a major campaign around a safety document right after Anthropic published an update to Claude's constitution. The deeper story going on here is a massive business model pivot. You see, OpenAI initially positioned itself as a consumer behemoth, banking on hundreds of millions of casual ChatGPT users. But to justify those massive infrastructure costs we just talked about, they're now desperately chasing enterprise revenue. The irony here is that enterprise tools were Anthropic's lane from day one. So despite all the magical generative AI advancements, these companies still have to pay the bills by relying on traditional tech billing. It kind of makes the pioneer of the AI boom look a bit like Anthropic's little brother, just playing catch-up.
Let's move to part 4 and see how this all builds up. The true cost of AI, specifically looking at GitHub Copilot's pricing shift.
Zooming out from all the corporate anxiety, how does this actually impact the everyday developer? Well, massive changes are coming to GitHub Copilot on June 1st. While the base monthly prices remain unchanged, the crucial shift is in the structure itself. Annual plans are being retired entirely. That completely removes a developer's ability to lock in a predictable yearly cost. Furthermore, the fallback feature, which used to let users keep working on a lower cost model if they ran out of credits, is gone. The billing model is shifting entirely away from premium request units directly to usage-based billing, which leads us to this stark new reality: 1 cent. Under the new model, 1 GitHub AI credit equals exactly 1 USD. And these credits are consumed based directly on token usage, at documented API rates. You are essentially paying for every single algorithmic thought the AI has while you code. The developer backlash is already fierce. One user submitted a pretty blunt question to the GitHub FAQ, stating, "This just wiped GitHub's value moat. Why should I stay?" For heavy agentic users, developers running long code reviews or multi-hour autonomous coding sessions, they are going to see severe, totally unpredictable cost increases. Now, GitHub is trying to smooth things over by offering temporary transition credits for business and enterprise users through August. But for the everyday developer, the era of unlimited, cheap AI assistance is officially over. Which brings us to the ultimate question. We've traced the whole arc today, right? From a courtroom philosophical battle over an AI charity down to empty developer wallets. We've seen a revenue ceiling panic the markets and the top player resorting to copycat product strategies just to keep pace with enterprise demands. So I leave you with this to chew on. With soaring costs, slowing growth, and rapidly rising developer bills, is the AI industry simply maturing into a traditional software business? Or has the hype cycle finally hit a solid brick wall? Thank you so much for learning with me today, and I'll see you in the next explainer.